Hello, my name is Justin Adams, and welcome to Jay's Days. Previously today, I did How the Grinch Stole Christmas, so in spirit of Jim Carrey holiday movies all around, I'm going to be doing A Christmas Carol. This movie is directed by Robert Zemeckis, who did Back to the Future, The Polar Express, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and the new Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie, The Walk. This dude is amazing, one of my favorite directors of all time. Now, he decided to do a completely faithful adaptation to Charles Dickens' classic story, A Christmas Carol. We've heard it a million times, but he claimed in an interview that he hasn't seen a truly faithful adaptation of A Christmas Carol that Charles Dickens would watch and enjoy. Now, one thing I will say is that I think Charles Dickens, if he was alive and he saw out of all of the versions of A Christmas Carol we get, this would probably be his number one, because not only is it set in the time which he wrote the book in, but all of the characters are fleshed out from the book, like literally from the page. Robert Zemeckis does a very, very faithful adaptation. Now, even though it is a very faithful adaptation, that does not mean it saves itself from being a very, very boring movie. Now, sure, we get the Polar Express treatment again, but this time with Jim Carrey and playing all the characters. He plays Ebenezer Scrooge, the Ghost of Christmas Past, the Ghost of Christmas Present, and the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. He also plays the young Ebenezer, the old Ebenezer, the medium Ebenezer. He plays a lot of different characters in this movie. Also, we have Colin Firth, Bob Hoskins, Gary Oldman. We have just so many people in this movie. So, my problem with it is that we've heard this story a million times. Even though the movie looks good and it's being a faithful adaptation to its source material, it's stuff that we've seen before. We know how the story goes. So the movie takes its time, it like sets us up, and even though we see Jim Carrey as Ebenezer, and he's really good, Jim Carrey is great. I think he's better than ever as Ebenezer Scrooge. I feel like he just does a very nice job of transitioning from Ebenezer, from all the ghosts. Like, he's not being pretentious. He's not, like, you can tell, but then again, you can't really tell. And I think that it's very nice to see Jim Carrey in this sort of way, because he has such a rubbery face. He's so animated himself that I love seeing him not really animated, but with computer-generated stuff all over him. Now, this movie, right off the bat, this movie has some awesome fucking visual. Now, the only problem is that he literally just did this format with the Polar Express, and the Polar Express was groundbreaking for 3D, for CGI, for everything. The movie was just awesome. And then he did A Christmas Carol. He basically did the same thing. Literally the same thing. Jim Carrey's playing all these characters. It was the same CGI, the same kind of story, not really the same story, but then again, the same like kind of guy who's not really believing in Christmas anymore. He's taken on this journey, and then once the journey is over, he discovers the true meaning of Christmas. It's kind of hitting the same beat, so it's a story that we've heard a million times, and it's not bringing anything new to it. The only thing that's new about this movie is the CGI, is the new technology. But then again, even though the animation, the CGI is all really cool, I feel like that this movie would have been a lot better if it was a live action movie, with Jim Carrey being Ebenezer and everything else being live action, and then having some really cool CGI and set pieces. But instead, it's just all CGI, and I think that it's okay, but I feel like sometimes most of the CGI gets in the way from seeing a really great Jim Carrey performance or seeing a really great Gary Oldman performance. Overall, guys, A Christmas Carol is a pretty good adaptation to the Charles Dickens classic book. Jim Carrey is great, everybody is really great in this movie, the visuals are amazing, and the CGI is good while it is sometimes distracting from the performances that we are seeing. But other than that, this movie is pretty good, and I like how it is being very, very faithful to the book. Like, unlike all the other movies, like Scrooge, even though I love Scrooge, it just takes elements from the books instead of actually being a thorough adaptation. I think that is very cool and very gifted off of Robert Zemeckis' part, because you can tell that he's a guy that can recreate something very old but bring it into a new light. And the movie does drag and it doesn't tell us anything new, so it's kind of hard to recommend anything like that. Like, it's like what's the point of seeing something when we've seen it a million times? Yeah, it may be cool, and yeah, it may have some good people in it, but if it's the same story, then what's the point of seeing it again? Alright guys, that's all I got. What do you guys think about A Christmas Carol? Do you guys like it, or do you guys hate it? If you guys want, you can follow me on Twitter at I'mJustin_420. And guys, that is all I have today. I was doing strictly just Jim Carrey holiday movies. I was thinking about doing Mr. Popper's Penguins, but it's not a Christmas movie. I don't think so, at least. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna watch it just for the fuck of it. I have it here for some reason, but I don't know. I don't think it's a Christmas movie. I don't know. We'll see.